Hello, my friends. Thank you for joining me on Person Behind the Pages. I'm your host, Beth Tabler. And I'm joined tonight by Beth. Gosh, I should have asked you this before. I'm sorry. Is it Tabler or Tabler? Hello? Can you hear
me? There we go. I can now. I had to turn. I was getting.
Was my music
double.
Too much?
No. Your music was great. I was getting double feed.
All right.
It was laying on top of each other, so I had to fix that. Hi.
Hi. All right, Beth, thank you for joining me. Of course, Person Behind the Pages is the show where we get to know the people that create the things that we love. And you've created some cool stuff. You're definitely someone that loves some nerdy stuff.
I'm a huge nerd.
Right? You're the founder of Before We Go blog,
yes.
Which now you're a SPFBO judge and a Sphinx judge, which is the novella competition.
Mm-hmm.
And you're part of the editorial and leadership team on Grimdark magazine.
Yes, I'm the editor of the periodicals. I put the periodicals together.
So you kind of, you keep a little bit busy. Decided that, didn't want relaxing hobbies anymore, right?
I'm just on my way to world domination.
There you go. Of course, you're also, a mother. And I'm, glad to hear your daughter's at least kind of a little well enough. Things are going well enough right now that you're able to chat with me. We had to reschedule from last week. So, but I appreciate you making the time to talk with me. So much to get into.
Okay.
I want to start with something silly. And by the way, hi, RR. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. So I have a little introductory questionnaire that I have guests do, and I ask them different questions. And one of the ones that, I asked you was favorite video games. I asked everyone this. And you said that you have 10,000 hours in this game called Slay the Spire. Holy moly.
I have 10,000 hours. I could have put that towards learning guitar or something useful.
Right?
Anything useful. Yeah, no, I have 10,000 hours in Slay the Spire.
That's awesome. I hadn't heard of that game before, but I was looking it up after I saw that, and it does look pretty cool. Tell me about the game a little bit. I want to hear about Slay the Spire.
So it's a roguelike card game. And what is so magnificent about this game is that it's infinitely, you can play it over and over and over and over again, and it's still entertaining.
You can play it for 10,000 hours.
You play for 10, and it's good every time.
Yeah.
You're a dude that has a set of cards, different classes, and you work your way through the tower to get to the top bosses, and it gets more and more difficult. There's a lot of strategy involved because you can collect cards, you can collect their little totems that give you different powers, different abilities, and you can combine stuff to get different effects dependent upon what you're fighting. So it's really playable. And what I would do at night was I would kick back in bed, and I would have Slay the Spire open, and I'd have an audiobook going. So I'd be listening to audiobooks, playing Slay the Spire, and just 10,000 hours.
Yeah, double dipping. Very nice. Beth has covered the worlds. There we go. So, obviously I want to get into all of your world domination with books and whatnot.
World domination.
But briefly, did you ever think about doing clearly you enjoy at least Slay the Spire. Did you ever think about doing video game reviews or anything? Or I'm too busy doing book reviews. Yeah. One thing.
It's an entirely different thing. However, my husband has actually reviewed stuff Before We Go. He is a big gamer.
Nice.
And he's a DM. He's amazing. Writes great articles. Yeah.
So he's DM, so a D&D DM, right?
Yeah.
Do you play with him?
No, I would love to because I don't have a lot of experience playing. I would really, really love to learn to play, but right now we just don't have enough time to dedicate to it. One of these days, though, we'll get a group together and he's really good. He's been doing it, you know, since he was 10 or 10 or 11.
Wow. Nice,
You know?
nice, nice.
Yeah.
I talked with Dan Wells on the channel once, and he's not only a writer and like a internationally best-selling writer, but for a while he was a professional D&D DM.
Oh, that's so cool.
How rad is that, right? Like, I wanted to talk to him about that.
Yeah, that's a super nerd right there.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, if there's an award, he's got it for sure in terms of super nerd.
I have a super nerd. I have a super nerd thing. I have a
go.
Lord of the Rings tattoo.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. Where? What is it?
It's across my back shoulders.
Uh-huh.
Like it goes. It's about this long.
Uh-huh.
It says, "Not all those who wander are lost."
Good one. Good one. Good one.
Yeah.
I have no tattoos because for the longest time I felt like there was nothing that I felt like I could commit to that I'm not just going to think is stupid when I'm 70. But the more that I think about it, the more I'm like, you know what though? Lord of the Rings, I would still be.
Who cares if you look stupid at 70? I want to be
Look
one
stupid.
of those old,
Me like
one of those old ladies with like pink hair and the glittery sneakers.
It's not about looking stupid. It's about like, am I still going to think this is a good idea when I was 70? Because let me tell you, like when I was like 16, I was like, I want to get a tattoo when I'm older, and it's going to be like a big toothy smiley face right on my butt, and I'm going to show it.
Story to tell.
Yes, true. I mean, I do like to say bad decisions make good stories, but I feel like that would be maybe more of a story than I really want. You know? I don't know.
Well, you have to like move into book stuff because you're always going to be a reader. So move into book stuff.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. And like I have. So when the Lord of the Rings movies came out, I was in high school. So I was a freshman.
We're the same age. That's great.
There we go. I was a freshman, and Fellowship came out, and I'm not Hobbit short, but I'm not especially tall. I'm 5'8". My brother and our mutual best friend at the time, they're both 6 foot. So the first like movie comes out and they're like, "You're a Hobbit," right? right. The second movie comes out and they're like, "You're Samwise Gamgee." And by the third movie, I was like, you know what? That's fine because he's actually the hero.
He's the hero of the story. Yeah.
Exactly. So I have embraced that as my alter identity since then. I feel like I could do anything Samwise related as a tattoo and not think it's done by the time I'm 70. But what I've seen like a few people, they get like a tattoo of like like a silhouette of the whole Fellowship.
That's cool. Actually, I
love that. Yeah. Oh yes. Oh, those are nice. See, I love that line is a great line too, but like my favorite is when Samwise says there's good in the world and it's worth fighting for.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like that one. So I think I would if I ever get a tattoo, it's going to be like, you know, the whole silhouette of the whole Fellowship and then that line under it. That's what's going to be.
The next tattoo I would probably get if it was book related would be "It's a pleasure to burn."
Okay. All right.
Which is the first line of Fahrenheit 451. I think it's the best. I think it's one of the best opening lines of any book I've ever read. Up into the Gunslinger. The first line of the Gunslinger, which is
Stephen King fan, huh?
Stephen. Oh, yeah, you can't see the Stephen King. The first line of the Gunslinger. What is it? The man in black cross. See, it's one of those things I can't remember exactly how it goes, but
I get you.
Cross the desert and the Gunslinger followed, something like that.
I respect and like I dig it. My cousin is like a big reader, reads a ton, and he tried to get me into the Dark Tower series, and I just couldn't do it. But you know, that's cool. Naya1013 on Instagram says potatoes in regard to like my tattoo ideas. I don't think I could really go with like a potato tattoo, but you know, could be fun.
All good stories,
right?
But you know what? The hands, I wouldn't mind getting that. Not on my knuckles, like somewhere else in my body, but like the hands, I wouldn't mind getting that somewhere.
There you go.
I think Adrian would kick my ass if I got a GDM tattoo.
That's funny. are already with the save. The man in black fled across the desert, and the
Desert, and the
gunslinger followed.
followed.
That is really good. You
Yeah.
definitely, like you're setting, he sets a mood. The guy knows how to write. Big
You
surprise.
think?
Right?
Yeah.
Right? All right. So, talk a little bit about video games. That's fun. Let's get into the thing that most people probably here already know you for. So, first, before we go blog, how did you even get into like book reviewing? Clearly, of course, you're, a reader, but what made you go, you know what? I want to do reviews and I'm going to start a blog about it.
I will show you. Years ago. So I'm a big list person. I love lists, and I love crossing stuff off. So in my desire to cross stuff off, I thought, oh, wouldn't it be fun if I put it online and I can talk about it, and get some interaction, show my family what I'm up to. So I started doing that. Hence the name Before We Go. Like, before I die, I'm going to do these things.
Mm.
Yeah, so like I've got my list book.
Nice.
Yeah, of stuff to do. Yeah.
Because she's amazing. Well, I mean, there you go. Started the blog because you're amazing.
That's my best friend, by the way. That's Karen. That's my best friend. Hi, honey. And then I'm like, well, I love books. I've always been a complete book reader. And I'm like, well, I'll put some book reviews up there because I actually have a book list also. I'm trying to read, the 50 greatest science fiction novels ever written and the 100 greatest fantasy novels and stuff.
Nice.
And it just I started doing more books, less other stuff, more books. And then 4 years ago, they had the December, it's like a December blogathon where you blog every day of December. Blogamus. Wow. That's what it's called, Blogamus. Like, well, I can do that. So I did that. And then in January, I'm like, well, I could do that. So I did that. And it just sort of kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going. And
wow.
And then James from GDM read some of my reviews and he liked them. And he invited me over to do a test review for GDM. They liked my review. And then that was actually for Justin Call's book. My test review was for Justin T. Call's book. And then I started doing reviews for them. I did do a lot of reviews, because I read a lot. I think I wrote 300 reviews for GDM.
Dang.
And then Adrian asked me, while doing Before We Go also at the same time. So Adrian asked me if I wanted to be a guest editor 1 year, like 2.5 years ago, if I wanted to guest edit one. Oh, sure. And so I started pulling pieces together and trying to create a cohesive narrative. And it went really well. And then him and I had a talk and he handed it off to me. He's, he supports me, obviously, because there's a lot of things that you have to learn, contracts and stuff. But yeah, I just kind of took it and ran with it. And I read very broadly. So I have people that I pull in that he might not have known about because he doesn't tend to read as broadly as I do. He has more focused on fantasy. So, we did a science fiction issue. What else have we done? We're going to do an Australian issue.
Oh, neat. That's fun.
Yeah, because there's so many writers in that area, Australia, New Zealand.
Yeah.
I have a science fiction issue coming up in July. And I just started going. And I also interview. I don't know. Do you know about the interviewing thing?
I've seen your interview with Patrick Rothfuss, your 3-part interview with Patrick Rothfuss, which I'm a little jealous about. He's amazing.
Yeah. So I do a lot of interviews also for GDM. God, I don't know how many I've done, 50, 60 interviews with GDM.
Wow.
And so we were doing that. We interviewed Brandon Sanderson, which went really well.
Nice.
Cool. Nicest man ever. And then
unless you write for Wired, then you hate him.
Actually, you know what? I wanted I was pushing for an interview from GDM to combat the Wired piece. Like, I live about 5 hours from him, and me and Sarah were going to drive over there, Sarah Torn, and we were going to talk to him and get a different perspective on things. You know, like show him in a different light because we're readers, and the person who interviewed him is obviously not familiar with the culture,
right,
or anything having to do with books and how he is in the community.
Yeah.
But it didn't go through because really Brandon just wanted to let it go, and I totally get that. Like, he didn't want to start a shit war with Wired magazine or whatever, you know.
As much as your interview would have been cool, I feel like he probably made the right decision there. He didn't need to deal with it anymore, you know.
There was no. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. What a journey. Do you remember any of the kind of original non-bookish stuff that you had posted on, where you're before you go
so
list items?
Let's see. I walked a mile backwards.
Cool. Why not? All right. What else?
Let's see. Karen, what are some of the things that I've done? Think.
Like, have you ever heard of the YouTuber Mr. Beast?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's the biggest solo channel in the world. Yeah. One of his first videos that was just him counting to 100,000 out loud to the camera.
Yeah.
And it took 12 hours or something stupid. Yeah. But
the walking around a mile backwards took me half an hour.
I feel like if you had a camera the whole time, you could be Mrs. Beast, but instead taking over the book world, which is probably better.
I did a lot of stuff. I moved to Italy for 3 months when I was in college. I did a international student trade thing.
That's super
and
cool.
I lived on an agriturismo, a working vineyard, and drank wine all day, every day.
Sucked.
It was rough.
Oh my god!
And I sketched. All of the great things in Italy there is to sketch.
Oh man!
Because landscape architecture, so fountains and that kind of stuff. And then I did big projects and stuff out there. And I got a lot of bucket list items crossed off, at least from Italy. Yeah,
I'm tremendously jealous of that. That Italy is the top of my travel bucket list. I feel like I could easily spend a month exploring Italy.
We went to Venice. I had to go to Venice because, I worry that it's going to disappear.
Yeah.
We went to Padua, Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We saw some of those churches that are made of bones, and what the hell else did I do? I did a lot of shit.
Did you go to Rome?
Oh yeah.
See some of those sites there? Yeah.
I stayed in Rome for 4 days. Rome is loud. Cool. Rome is very, very loud because it's all motorbikes.
Yeah.
And so. But we were staying right next to the Acropolis, so that was cool. I could go out the door and then there's the Acropolis.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Isn't that so you're 5 hours from? I think is it in Nevada that you live?
Mm-hmm. I live in Vegas.
Isn't it crazy? There's no history like that in Nevada.
No.
You know what I mean? This, in the Western United States, there's some Native American sites and that sort of thing, which is very cool. Not to disparage that, but it's not like the hotel Acropolis. It's so different. So different than what we have.
Every time something gets old here, we knock it down.
Yeah.
Vegas specifically. Yeah. Well, it may seem like it's a lot of fun to live here. It's really not.
Right.
I mean, you can only get drunk and gamble so often. You can only hit a club so often.
Sure.
It's been 20 years since I've been in a club here. It's not something locals do.
Yeah, I bet.
What
about, so there's two, the gambling and whatever, actually, I haven't been to Vegas. That sounds a little appealing for a while. I wouldn't want to live there, but the things that are exciting to me about Vegas are the buffets and the food and the shows. I
Be
feel
very
like
sad to know that most of the buffets are now closed because of COVID.
Tier. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Crushing my
We had
dreams. Fine.
gorgeous buffets, like gorgeous. We had
Right.
the best buffet. We had the Around the World buffet, which was, I don't know, 800 feet long, 1,000 feet long, and it was culinary delights from around the world.
Ugh,
And then
nice.
you had, you know, the buffet at Caesar's Palace, which was crab legs and
Yeah.
escargot and sadness. I
Nice,
love
nice.
these.
So what I mean, but there's still like pretty amazing shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
You check those out sometimes, or are you really kind of you're like, meh.
Yeah, the shows are cool. They're expensive. They've gotten a lot more expensive.
Okay.
You know, when I was growing up, you could go see Siegfried and Roy for $100.
Okay.
But now, if you want to see any of the shows, it's like $200-$300 a person.
You know what's like? I mean, we're gonna go on such a tangent, but have you tracked like Disneyland or Disney World prices anytime recently?
No. The last time I was at Disneyland, I was 18.
It's insane.
I cannot stand Disneyland. I'm sorry to you Disney lovers out there. I cannot stand Disneyland. It's just
totally fair. Like it's not, you know, nothing's for everyone. Like I remember, like, I mean, Walt's original vision was, you know, he wanted to build a place that was like, you know, the happiest place on earth for families, and like I think he wanted it to be accessible, and now it's like. I mean, to go into just one park is like $200, much less if you're like, it's insane. It's too much.
Yep.
But, and then it comes gears to like, if you're going to do that, of course, you're going to do it with your family, right? So you're easily talking like $1,000 just for park entry, you know? It's retarded. But, well,
and the cost of everything in there is obscene.
Yeah, of course.
Of food. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No kidding. Yeah, right. Dave Lawson on Instagram says even like the $100 for Siegfried and Roy feels like a lot. But he also says, guess I'm used to Oklahoma prices, which I imagine, you know, maybe not as much. That's funny.
We have the World Championship bull riding competition here. It's a big deal.
Interesting.
It's at the South Point Hotel, which is at the very end of the strip. So we actually have a lot of cowboy stuff too. Like
that
comes through. Yeah.
There's all sorts of different cons and stuff that come through, right? So like, yeah. Okay. No, go ahead. You have something clearly.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, there's lots of cons. There's the adult film con that comes through here. My cousin is a videographer, and so he films all these cons, so he tells me about them. So yeah, there was the I forgot what it's called, the adult awards, like best blowjob, you know, those kind of awards. He films the con for like the award show for that stuff. And then so there's
look, Mom, look what I know.
I know. He finds it hilarious. And and then there's the electronic show.
Oh yeah.
The big electronic show is here too.
See, that's my
EVS?
The CES, Consumer Electronics Show.
Yes, that's here.
There used to be E3 Entertainment Electronic Expo, something like that. But that one's kind of really, but Consumer Electronics Show. It's a big, that would be neat to go to. But
I mean, I've done some fairly cool things living here. You know, like shows wise and stuff.
That's cool.
Now, when I was growing up, I had a girlfriend who put her way through college stripping. Like it's just, you know, that's just the kind of stuff that I grew up with.
Just a thing you do in Vegas.
Yeah, it's just
sure. So, but you started before we go blog because you wanted to kind of create this bucket list, which is super cool. Obviously got more into books, more focused on books, kept doing more and more posts about books. So
discovered NetGalley.
How did you, like the Before We Go team is much more than just you now. So
it's so wonderful. We have such a cool team now.
How did you like grow the team? What do you look for when you're adding a reviewer? And then the next question is going to be kind of like, when did SPFBO come into the self-published fantasy blog off? When did that become into the mix, and how have you kind of managed that? But first,
Okay.
growing the team.
Okay,
Let's talk about that.
I don't know who joined the team first. So it was just me for years, and then I got to thinking like, well, I would love to get some different opinions in here. And I knew a lot of people from GDM, obviously. So I invited some people over from GDM to join my team. And then they could, they could talk about some of the other books that don't. Like if you have a Venn diagram, there's a lot of overlap between GDM and Before We Go, but not everything touches. So we have a large expanse of books that we can cover. And then I just, we were doing so good. I invited other cool people into the mix. We got lots of personalities. We have lots of authors. It's I try to boost authors, when they have a release. We talk about it. I do everything I can for the authors that are on the team. We have so many amazing cool people. There's one right there, the Drowned Kingdom saga.
Yeah.
PL. And so it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We had January and December. We had 2 months in a row where we had 100,000 visits to the site.
Dang. Wow.
Yeah.
In a month. That's good.
Yeah, in 1 month we had 100,000 people visiting the site.
Nice.
It was big. It was a big month.
How many reviews are getting posted to the site in those months?
400.
400 in a month?
I think I could tell you. I'll tell you.
I mean, I don't doubt you. I'm just quite surprised. That was way more than I imagined. Wow.
I can tell you exactly how many.
Wow. That blows my mind. I mean,
just 1 sec. I'll give you our stats.
Sure.
If anybody cares.
Yeah. 400 a month. So like on average, like 10 plus book reviews a day.
Well, let me see. I want to make sure I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. Let me see.
It's, wow.
Okay.
I'm such a slow reader. So like even with your team, like that just is like mind boggling to me, but.
Yeah. So where are we standing? Okay. Total. We're almost 900,000 visits to the site. We're going to hit 1 million visits here pretty soon.
Sick.
Which I would never. Like
wow,
when I started this, I'm like, 5 people came to the site.
Yes, right.
I'm excited about every person.
So you're over 900,000, but like within the last 2 months, like there's been 100,000 visits each of those months.
Yeah.
So you're having tremendous growth right now. Then.
Yeah, it goes up and down. February wasn't huge growth wise. Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, so 85 posts. I was thinking of something else. 85 posts in January, 81 posts in December.
Okay, that's still, we're still talking like almost 3 per day.
Yeah, it's a lot. I was thinking something else. Yeah, it's a lot. That's from different people.
Yeah, right.
I give everybody on our site autonomy. I want everybody to have their own voice.
So how do you when thinking about like the last like 5 people that joined, Before We Go, and like are they all people that like you reached out to, and then what are you looking for when you're kind of inviting, whether they're authors, reviewers, whatever? What are you looking for when you're inviting into your kind of team?
We have a managerial team on Before We Go now because we've gotten so big. I know John. John's on the team.
Talked with him last week. Was awesome. Super fun.
John's great. Yeah, right? John's great. Gorilla Glass. Man, stupid smart. I can't tell you how many like PhDs are on the team. It makes me feel so stupid.
That's, you know what? That's the sign of building a good team, and also being a good leader. When you can add people that I think are like smarter than you and bring things to the table that you don't.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
I don't have a lot of I don't have any ego. Like it's now ours. It's not mine. It's ours. It's always ours now because I put in the work. I've given it to the group, and it's really great to have these wonderful opinions and stuff. People like, for instance, PL has a lot of focus on medieval history, and he's an absolute fountain of knowledge, which is incredible. Yeah, like and me personally, I have read a lot of classic science fiction, so I can bring that to the table. And then we have, Crystal Matar, who is just bloody brilliant, and she talk about whiskeys. Like, it's just and for people, I just look for people that are respectful. We have a lot of queer authors. We have a lot of trans reviewers. Our team is a haven for open voices and getting books out there that are not necessarily getting the push that they should. So that's very important on our team as well.
Nice.
So I'm making him blush. He's so stupid. He's so stupid and incredible, like writer-wise. Just you haven't read his saga, you should.
There you go.
Yeah, he's got it all in his head.
Well, okay, so yep.
Save spaces for everybody. Yeah.
Very good.
Yep.
So quite some growth there. Very cool to hear about and whatnot, how you've kind of organized that. We've talked a little bit about kind of GDM Grimdark magazine, and you were sort of brought into that. So what is your role now? And you touched on this a little bit, but just what is your role now at Grimdark, and what are you doing at Grimdark magazine?
So I put together from start to finish the periodical issues, the quarterly issues that go out, that you can buy on Amazon. So I go out, I pitch. Well, I get an idea of what I want the overall feeling of that particular issue is. And then I go out and I pitch authors, see, how busy they are. I tell them about my ideas, get them lined up. Sarah Chorn is our editor. So we all, Sarah and I are a great team. We work together, we get these stories in, we work together, we get them polished up. I do the contracts, I help design the covers. I don't draw the covers, but I help design them. Like, I'll come up with an idea of what I want to see on the cover, and then our incredible designer, or our incredible artist, Carlos, takes that idea and just rolls with it. And yeah, and then, I set up interviews, or I do interviews. I do all of the reviews. I coordinate all the reviews, or I do the reviews also. We have a lot of people that work on it now.
Yeah,
it's getting bigger. Goal-wise, I'd like to be able to do it every other month instead of quarterly, but it is time-consuming.
Right.
So this year, I'd like to get 500 subs on Patreon.
Okay.
If I get 500 subs on Patreon, that just means that they'll get the issue. Automatically get the issue. It's not a huge commitment. And then we'll have the capital to bring even more stories in, make it even, juicier, better.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I imagine that though. It is a lift, right? Even just coordinating just the authors, much less kind of all the other elements. How many different authors? I think, did you say that it's like 3 or 4 kind of different authors per issue?
It's usually 6.
Okay, six.
6 authors per issue. We try to do 3 new fiction and 3 reprints.
Nice.
So, yeah,
And
give or take.
so there's also on Grimdark, and this might be online only, I'm not sure, but there's like some contests sometimes. I know that some of my writer friends are like, "Ooh, there's this Grimdark contest." So is that something that you work on, or is that something that's separate?
I don't know. We've done a contest a couple times.
Yeah.
Right now, we have open submissions,
Right.
and we haven't had open submissions in 2 years. So it's a big deal. So
Yeah.
I haven't even looked. But like I'm going to be reading 100 and something short stories here soon.
Right. Yeah. Get ready.
Which is really
Yeah.
hard. Which is really hard because I love stuff so much, but
That's so you're gonna have to go through all that. You're gonna have to like whittle that down because you're not gonna publish all 100 whatever that you get submitted. You're also, of course, a SPFBO judge, and you have to whittle that down. What's some of your criteria when you're making these decisions? How do you decide like what to run with and what to honor in terms of SPFBO, and what to be like, well, this didn't make the cut.
I want to tell you about SPFBO this year.
Okay.
So I lost my dad. Well, actually, I lost my uncle in June. I lost my dad in July, and then I lost my aunt in August. And one after another. And so I had all of that going on. Plus, I have a chronic illness that I'm battling, and I have chronic migraines. Chronic migraines. So I was, for the first time, I was overloaded. I'm usually pretty good at partitioning stuff, but I was overloaded. Like I was with my dad. I was very, very close to my dad. And I just sort of started twitching. Crystal took over SPFBO for our team this year. I've had, thank God for her. I love her so much. I sent her a gavel not long ago so she can bang the gavel on her table. She took over SPFBO. So this year she's been much more of a lead than I have. Years past, I can tell you it's very collaborative. What we're looking for is something that at this level, when you get to the final 10, okay, we are looking for something that is polished, that good characterization, that flows. It doesn't have to be like dark fantasy, grimdark. It doesn't have to be anything like that, but it just has to be. It has to be something that the judges get excited about. Like, oh my God, we got to read the next book. And honestly, it's not even about winning at that point because you're getting so much promotion from just being in the competition and people talking about you.
Right.
That,
Yeah, no, that's one of the things that I think is really wonderful about the way the whole competition is set up, is that it doesn't, honestly, I feel like I'm not sure that I can like identify a lot of the winners, but like a lot of the finalists I know whether they're the winners or not. And like, yeah, and it does shine a light that, even if you were in it all, I think it's a positive thing for it. So that's really cool.
It's also like, depending upon what somebody wants, it's bringing in some of the big 5 publishers have picked up a few of the winners and a few of the ones who have not been winners, if that's what they want. A lot of people are very happy to be self-published and have that kind of control.
Yeah.
But it's shining a light. The whole industry is going to be completely different in 5 years because we don't have brick and mortar stores for the most part anymore, sadly. We have Barnes and Noble, but and it's going to be TikTok. It's going to be book Twitter. It's going to be great book blogs that give you ideas about books and that kind of stuff. And that would play very well into self-published authors. you see it a lot on TikTok, or I should say Book Talk. The kind of books that they push become national bestsellers, and they're self-published.
Right. Yeah.
And that's just from their talking about it and getting excited about it. And everything's changing.
I was Fletcher. I was speaking with Fletcher just last night, Michael R. Fletcher. And
I worked with him. He was in the last magazine.
Right. And so he was kind of talking just a little bit about how he'd love to talk to his new podcast, Dripping Bucket. Shout out, check that out. He would love to talk someday with an agent and talk about some of the realities of the industry and some of the things that are changing. And I thought that was sort of fascinating too. Like, I think you make some prescient points. I think what you're saying, the writing's clearly on the wall. But I wonder too about sort of this rise of other platforms that I'm seeing too. Not only in that, like Sanderson kind of exploring, what is it, Speechify, and also
Kickstarter.
Yes. But I was talking the audiobooks. He was looking for audiobook alternatives, and then but now he's kind of maybe getting back to Audible because they've brought something to the table that he's satisfied with. But yes, of course, Kickstarter and now BackerKit that he's doing with the latest one that
which I just bought.
He broke BackerKit for a while,
I just bought it. Yeah. Today.
So I wonder, I think that I can't imagine that just seems like that's going to be even more prevalent and powerful in 5 years than it is now, right? I mean, not only like Kickstarter too, like I've seen a lot of in the lit RPG and progression fantasy space. There's a lot of people that get a start on
some lit RPG. Yes.
And a lot of people get a start on Royal Road. Have you seen Royal Road? So it's a website that they're just posting it as serials. Well, so what they do is they post as serials on website and it's free. And then a lot of them will post ahead of the release schedule on Royal Road, they'll post on Patreon. So if you want early access, you do a paid Patreon, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But then on Royal Road, they what's called stub out. Like it's literally on Royal Road, it says stub out the book. And so you have only kind of the initial few scenes, few chapters, and then the rest of it, you say, now it's available on Kindle, go buy it, and you can also read it for free with Kindle Unlimited, And so some of these, Shirtaloon, yeah, he's huge there. And when Shirtaloon puts out a new book on Amazon, it's #1 on all of Amazon,
Yeah.
But Royal Road.
Him. If I can get a hold of him, I want to interview him.
That's sick. Yeah.
If you're watching, want to interview you.
Yeah, right. Shirtaloon, if you're watching, I'll interview you too. We could do it together.
We interviewed Matt Dinneman.
Oh, nice. Yeah. How would that go?
Carl.
I was I saw the cover of it and whatnot, and I was like, I don't know. But then I actually read kind of just the snippet of understanding the world building of it, and I'm like, you know what? Actually, this sounds fun.
God damn it,
Donut's the cat, right?
What you need to do is you need to listen to the audiobook.
Yeah.
No,
the audiobooks are so good.
Is I say this, it is the best audiobook series I have ever listened to.
Wow. Who narrates that one?
Oh, I can't remember his name, but he does all of the voices. He does the cat.
He does the yeah. Have you read have you listened to Cradle series by Will White, and it's narrated by Travis Baldree?
I love Travis Baldree. I've not read
the Cradle series. That's okay. Yeah, Travis is fantastic. I love the voices that he does there.
Yes,
so good.
Travis is great. Jeff Hayes. There he is.
Jeff Hayes. There it is.
Ronnie.
Thank you. Nice.
Jeff, and they're doing a so Jeff is doing. They're bringing it up a notch and doing a theater sound thing for the audiobooks. It has effects and stuff in it to
that's cool.
Be more immersive.
Nice,
So
nice.
it's great. God, I love those books. He had a Kickstarter not recently for a hardcover Dungeon Crawler Carl, like a special edition hardcover.
Oh, really? Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Which I have coming.
It seems like that's just the thing to do right now, right? Is you do a special edition.
I'm a complete whore for books for special editions.
Yeah, right.
No. No. Like
it's just out of frame now, but I've got
those are special
there you
editions.
go. Yeah, nice.
And all of this.
Nice. Mine's just out of frame, but I got the Threadlight Omnibus. That's now the prettiest book that I own. That was the Kickstarter edition.
I did not get that because I haven't read Threadlight, but I have it on my Kindle to read. This is probably the best thing in my collection. This is called the King Bow.
Okay.
For book collectors. In the early 2000s, Hodder, a UK publisher, put out all of Stephen King's books with colored spines.
Ooh.
And if you can collect them, you can make a rainbow.
That's fun.
King books. This is it's just aesthetic
yeah
stuff. But I have almost the entire. There's more down there. I have almost the entire Kingbow, except 3 books, and they are roughly $400 to $500 a piece. If I could find them, so they're not going to be found. I'm just not going to get the last 3. But I have all the other ones.
How many books do you own multiple editions of the same book?
Lots.
Yeah.
Where is it? So with some of my favorite classic science fiction, I've actually bought a book from every decade that it's been out, so that I can see the
evolution of the cover and that sort of thing.
Evolution of the cover. Yeah. So I've done that. Some of my favorite books, I've got 3 and 4 styles of it.
Yeah.
You're like, here, I'll give you an example. I just got this. Voyage of the Damned. Gorgeous book, right?
love those sprayed edges there.
Oh, yes. It's all about sprayed edges. It's gorgeous. This is which edition is this? We got one from Illumicrate and one from Gold something. Forget the name of it. This is the Illumicrate edition.
Wow, very nice.
But I have 2 of Voyage of the Damned.
Nice, nice.
So pretty. I have bought so many books from Broken Binding. I could probably I bought them a small car. I just got these.
What do we got? Drum roll. Ooh. Ah.
That's right.
Nice. Oh,
This is
wow.
Book, by the way. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's I like that a lot. Ronnie was showing me he's got a couple copies of the last binding where someone did illustrations on the edges that carried the cover art, wrapped it around the whole book. Yeah, it was so neat.
I'll have to ask him. That's cool. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is mine. This is cool.
I love that. I've seen that book a couple times. I love that cover. Is so unique. It
is. It is. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I have so many books to put away now.
That's neat. So, yeah, interesting. Was it? I think Sanderson was talking to Daniel B. Green, and he was talking about some of his predictions for the future of the industry, and he was saying that one of the it's harder and harder to really kind of break in, but one of the ways that you can be successful as an indie is to do these special editions and make your $50 a book. Yeah, it makes sense.
If I see them on Kickstarter, I tend to support them if I can.
Nice. Yeah.
I've got I've got lots of special editions from indie authors, just because I want to show the love.
Yeah. Have you seen like I feel like there is a little bit of a trend of nice. Authors are starting to use Kickstarter like with their debut, which I find amazing. What are your thoughts on using Kickstarter as a debut? Have you found some debuts through Kickstarter where you haven't heard of them through other means at all?
No, I haven't. But I do not begrudge anybody finding a way to make that money, make their name. I don't know. I think that would be a very difficult sell, you know?
Yeah, I don't want to seem like
Patreon,
I'm poo-pooing it. I'm just like, I just think it's amazing.
Oh, no, I don't think you're poo-pooing, but like Patreon, I could see. Like, hey, support my book. You know, here's a chapter. I can see that. Kickstarter, I don't know. I can see that for a second book.
Well, I tell you, like, no, like I've seen a couple debuts that are doing it, and they're doing it successfully as debuts. You know,
that's fantastic,
right? Yeah, I don't understand their magic. That's all. You know.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
That's super cool. So, what are the changes do you see in like the next sort of 5 years? What do you think that we're going to see? Because like I was talking about Royal Road, and we're seeing Kickstarter. I feel like the book nerds are sort of trying to find alternatives to Amazon's monopoly. Do you think that's going to continue?
Yes.
Or yeah.
Yes, but I don't know. Amazon is like this big hulking beast.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that will continue. I think that stores like Broken Binding do incredible stuff and get book nerds excited. There's actually quite a few stores like Broken Binding. There's a couple in the US. Yeah, there is. Broken Binding actually does it more cheaper, even for Americans who have stuff shipped over, than the other stores have been able to do. If Broken Binding could set up shop in the US and reduce their price for shipping, gangbusters, man. They would. That's the only thing that's holding Broken Binding back from what I understand from the US market, because it costs 15 pounds or 15 euro to ship a book, which is about $20. So you have that on top of the special edition price. If you can get rid of the extra $20 fee, bring it down to like $3, $5. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the future. Illumicrate's huge.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
You have to be on a waiting list to get to any of these. Like the Broken Binding subscription is a huge waiting list. The Illumicrate subscription is a giant waiting list. It took me 8 months to get into Illumicrate.
Wow. That's wild. That's wild. It's so cool to see the like kind of these like niche companies like that, and then also like Merrick Books or Wraithmark that are doing the Kickstarter fulfillment. You know, it's neat to see that these are kind of popping up and being successful and getting more awesome books into people's hands. You know.
Yeah, and they're finding, you know, there's a lot of us book nerds.
There's a lot of us book nerds. How about that, right?
There's a lot of us book nerds. There's a lot of people who get excited and want to, like, I read a lot of stuff by ebook, but I celebrate books by buying a copy. Like, I buy a copy to celebrate. I have this beautiful object. I don't tend to even read them. I just look at them because they're pretty.
Right. No, I kind of feel the same way. Like I like reading on ebook. It's nice, you know. But like, yeah, if it's something I really love, then I sort of want it as like a little trophy on my shelf, you know.
Exactly. And that, you know, that's the prettier the trophy, the better.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yep. No, I totally get it.
I don't know what that says about me, but yeah, I don't tend to read my special edition books. They're just pretty.
Right. So you mentioned also, I want to talk a little bit about some of the classic sci-fi that you've read. Who were some of your favorite classic sci-fi authors?
Heinlein.
Nice.
Philip K. Dick. I've read a lot of Philip K. Dick. I've read Arthur C. Clarke. I've read Okay, yeah, I told you I'm really bad with names, but
No,
like I
that's
can
pretty good.
point out books. Childhood's End is one of my favorite classic science fiction books.
I don't think I know that one. I might have to look that up.
It's short too, so
Yeah,
if you wanna
nice.
read it, it's short. Day of the Triffids is really good. That's John Wyndham, I think.
Okay. Do you have a favorite Heinlein?
Puppet Masters.
I haven't checked that out. See, all right.
Yeah.
I'm like,
or Stranger in a Strange Land. Stranger in a Strange Land seems to be the one that people,
I do enjoy that one. I would like to see like a more faithful movie adaptation of Starship Troopers for once. You would
okay. So we have the Starship Trooper conversation because this is all over Twitter. Not so long ago. What do you think about the adaptation that was done in the 90s?
The movie is fine, but it's not Starship Troopers, right?
Well, it's supposed to be satire though. Like
is it?
Okay, it's mass in space.
Like, right.
Like it's supposed to be satire. And
if that's kind of the intention, then I think they did it well. But again, like that's what I'm saying. Like I want like a actual adaptation of like trying to do Starship Troopers. I think would be interesting.
It would. There's, I don't know how they would do it though, because the Starship Troopers of the book is very militaristic and it's slow.
Yeah,
it's slower. I don't know. Talk a lot about propaganda and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. It's a great book.
Right. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I feel like, I mean, people make assumptions about what the book is based on the movies, and
I know.
There's also there's a really recent video game that's a Starship Troopers video game, and it's like it's very much more like the movie and very little like the book.
Mm-hmm. You get that a lot too with World War Z.
Okay.
Have you read World War Z?
I haven't. As I told you once before, I am a very slow reader, so there's like way too many books that I want to get to. But
Helldivers 2 is the game. Yeah.
No. So Helldivers 2 is fantastic, and I played the hell out of like Helldivers 1.
I've read Helldivers.
That was a book. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But no, there's a game that is Starship Troopers. Like it is. If you get on Steam, it's a Starship Troopers game. Like it's not. The Helldivers exists also, and it's great. But but you're right. Also, Helldivers 2 is it does seem very. I mean, the way that they're like they are orbital troops and whatever. Well, no, it's not so much tits and ass, and it's very like Helldivers is very much like for democracy while they're killing aliens,
Yeah.
And like that is it's very funny, and it has so much personality, that game, which is really fun.
Yeah. Let's see. Meets Halo Heli Jumpers with memes.
With memes, yes. Have you played it yet, Ronnie? My brother's playing it, but like I could play it with him, but like I don't know. I've only been playing like one game every 2 weeks for like a few hours. I'm not sure if I want to spend the money.
I mean, don't you have a little baby?
But she's gonna be 3 soon. So, but she's yeah. I'm playing it now.
Awesome. What, are we not entertaining for you enough?
This from the person that plays Slay the Spire while she's listening to her favorite books.
Multitasking for the win.
Right. True adaptation should all take place in the classroom and go like an 80s film. That's funny.
It should have a feel like, do you remember Red Dawn from the 1980s?
Oh yeah, there you go.
That's what it should feel like. Red Dawn.
Plus Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Yeah, together. And it's this weird amalgamation.
Yeah, what year did you graduate high school?
2004.
Okay. I graduated high school in 1998.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's like what I watched and stuff. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Breakfast Club.
Yep.
Yeah. Weird Science was good. Did you ever watch Weird Science?
Yeah. Weird Science. Yeah.
I haven't.
Thank you, Ronnie. Thank
you.
That's good times. I want to see that Starship Troopers now movie, Joe. Joe, would you write the script for it? Cool. All right.
I had some really cool thing happen to me recently.
Tell me about it.
I had somebody nominate me for a Hugo.
What?
Yeah.
You're a Hugo nominated blogger?
No, not blogger, as editor.
Editor,
for
okay.
Grimdark magazine. But like they're just putting my name in. You know, I've had a few people put my name in.
Wow.
That doesn't mean that I'm going to make the short list or anything. Like,
okay.
I'm not going to make the short list. But it was a super cool nod to Grimdark magazine.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. Well done.
Yeah, it made me cry. I'm not going to lie. Like that's one of my goals. You know, I have my little goal sheet, and that's one of my goals, and it made me cry. I was very touched. Somebody actually tried to shine a light on GDM.
They like me. They really like me.
And I'll be there. I'll be there. I'm going to Scotland.
That's cool.
In August.
Next year is in Seattle, right?
Yeah, it probably would have been better if I went to Seattle, but I'm going to the one in Scotland.
I mean, Scotland sounds amazing. I'm not going to that one, but maybe I'll try to do the Seattle one. That seems more manageable. Yeah.
It's also I'm taking my mom with me, and you know, she's had quite a terrible year. So I was trying to give.
And by the way,
46 years, so it was
I was kind of making faces and almost like laughing while you were talking about this terrible tragedy that's happening to you. So, and like, I want to kind of apologize, but it's not because it's funny.
No,
one, it's sort of I do that sometimes, but two,
ridiculously.
I've also lost my father in the last few years, and then my grandmother had died the year prior. My mother had a stroke like a year prior to that. Like, so, you know, and then I was just a couple weeks ago, I was talking to Ryan Skeffington, and he's really cool. If you haven't done an interview with him, you should. But he's at a somewhat similar that he lost his father pretty recently, and he's been in my chat and lots of times, and we'll just like have he comes in with the one-liners and the quips and shit, and then when I actually interview him, he's like, you know, getting all heavy on me about grief, which was a fantastic conversation, don't get me wrong. I'm like, oh man, yeah. So like, life is short, right? I'm glad that you're doing so many of the before we go things, you know. Good for you.
Yeah, I'm trying to. My dad had he had a fall in December of 2022. So I lived in Portland for 10 years, and then my parents were both getting very sick. So I moved back to Las Vegas in like November of 2022 to take care. My family to take care of my parents. Then my dad fell, and then he couldn't get out of a wheelchair. So then he was wheelchair bound. He was 86.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then my mom came down with polio.
Oh.
If you can believe that.
Yeah.
She's one of the last polio survivors.
Wow.
And apparently, if you have polio, as a child, you carry the illness in you, and it can represent itself as you're an elderly person. So she lost the use of her right side of her body. So she was in a wheelchair. So I was pushing both of them to their doctor's appointments. Like we would do a little train. You know, my mom would be in the front, and then I would push my dad, and we would just do a little train. I did that for like 9 months, taking care of the both of them and my family. And then my dad, who was in liver failure or kidney failure, he got really sick. He was in the hospital, and he ended up passing away. We let him go. So that was that year, you know, dealing with all that stuff. So I had all these amazing things that were happening, like with GDN and before we go, and then trying to hold everything together with stuff that was happening in my personal life. It was a rough year. Now I'm just, you know, chugging along.
Yeah, and probably I saw this great analogy for grief, where grief is a ball in a box, and like in that box, there's a button for the like emotional panic that you get sometimes with it. And when you first have grief, the ball is huge in that box, so it's always pushing against that stupid fucking button, and you just you're like crying, sobbing all the time,
constantly,
right? But then over time, the ball does get smaller, which is sort of nice because you're able to function a little bit more. But then every once in a while, that ball is bouncing around. All of a sudden, it goes right on that button. And
that's a
like,
great way to look at it.
Right? Yeah, because I've definitely been in the position where something reminds me of my father, and it's like that stupid ball hitting that stupid button at a time that's completely unpredictable, and I'm like, what the fuck, I miss my dad,
I think about losing somebody like that as, if you're looking at a person, it feels like you have like a ice cream scooper, and you have ice cream scooped a piece of them away, and that piece doesn't fill up. It's just there. You go on with your life and stuff, and sometimes it gets irritated or whatever, but it's just there. And as you lose things or lose people, you lose more little tiny bits, bigger ice cream scoops or little ice cream scoops, and just try to keep going on your merry. I like yours better, but I visualize the ice cream scoop thing because that's kind of how I felt for a long time.
So what are the ways? What are some of your favorite like memories of your father, and some of the things that you like? Is there any particular like items that you have or memories that you really really like cherish?
I do. So I'm sorry.
No, good. I'm glad it's a fun story. It's better than
my dad was a Southern man.
Mm-hmm.
He was from the hill country and backwoods hill country in Tennessee.
Okay.
And he had this thick drawl that he never quite got rid of. And at the end of everything that he said, like every statement, declarative statement, he'd go, oh.
Nice.
After living with him for so long, you don't notice, but like at the end,
yeah,
big heavy Tennessee accent.
My go ahead.
He did a lot of cool stuff. Do you know about the the shots in Elko and stuff in Nevada, the atomic bombs that went off?
Like when they were testing, like in the sure.
Mm-hmm. So my dad's job was he worked at the test site for 37 years, and he would run the wires down into the hole with the atomic bomb, and he would catch the data from the blast. And then, like it would be stuck in a ball of glass because it would glassify everything underground. And that's what he did. And that's actually part of the reason why he passed away, because of the radiation. That's actually why my uncle passed away too, from the radiation from the site.
But you said your dad was like in his late 80s?
He was, but he had tons of problems that were associated with, he had stage 4 tonsil cancer, which was common for workers from the test site. They had a government, like the government gave a bunch of money to the test site workers because the prevalence of cancer was coming down. But he had a lot of cool stories. You go out there, there's a bunch of cars that are buried because the wind changed. So this entire parking lot full of cars couldn't be touched because it became irradiated. So they just had to bring in dirt and cover it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So my dad, like sort of similar to the fun stories, my dad was an environmental control and life support system engineer for the space shuttle.
How cool.
All right. I felt like I was Yeah, he literally came into my 4th grade class because they were like, a little bit of a like career day, whatever. And he brought like slides for the overhead, and like he was such a nerd, and I was like, "It is cool,"
That is
But
so cool.
because my grandmother had passed the year prior, that really kind of put a fire in my butt to do a thing that I had been thinking about doing with my dad for a while. So we started recording the last year that he was alive, as it turns out. We recorded some like podcast episodes. This is a
That's
podcast.
wonderful.
It's called My Dad Built Spaceships, and it's just like me and my dad talking about his work but talking like, because his work obviously was unique and interesting, but then like the stories he has are very like it's much more mundane and just sort of like than you might expect it to be. And it was a lot of fun, and I'm so glad about it. The one regret I have is at the time, even though this wasn't that long ago, but I thought like, I mean, to be funny, I felt like I needed to say fuck all the time and that sort of thing, and like which is I don't have a problem with for myself, but now that I am a parent, I'm like, I cannot share this with my kids until they're much older, and that's a shame.
I have such a potty mouth. My poor daughter. She's like,
right.
she kicked something the other day. She went, "Fuck!" I'm like, Vivian, what?
You can't do that.
You can't say that.
Right. But Mom, I learned from you. Like,
So
my
bad.
brother. This silly story. My brother, when we were much younger, of course, we were children, but we were visiting my dad's mother, my grandmother. Like my brother did something like that, or I think he was actually just relaying a story. He didn't even like stub his toe or whatever. He was telling a story, and he was like, "Oh yeah, all this shit." And my grandmother was like, "Michael," and my brother, without skipping a beat, right away, he's like, "I could say worse if you'd like." Yeah, somehow he did not get smacked. I think it was just that all the adults were kind of in shock and like sort of laughing about it. But yeah.
Shit's not a really terrible word. We've come to the point of telling Vivian like context.
Yes.
Context. Actually, Vivian, come here.
Come say shit for all these nice people.
I'm gonna get like called out by social services.
Right.
Vivian! Yeah, she's not listening.
Nah. Well, I mean, you say shit's not that bad, but it is definitely on George Carlin's list of words you can't say on TV.
Shit, fuck. Hey, babe, what are the Carlin words? Mark? Is he there? He's not there. He has them memorized.
I bet.
Shit, like shit, fuck, motherfuck, tits, ass. He's got him down.
Fart is actually one of them. I don't know why fart makes the list, but
I actually think the worst word is cunt. But that's an American thing. Like
right.
in the UK, they say cunty stuff all the time.
Right.
Everybody says cunty stuff.
Right.
Did you just say cunt?
Yeah, right. Sure. Yeah. Right. That's funny that like the language differences around I think are always interesting. That's it.
I like a good use of twat. Like I think it's a very multi-functional word.
Right.
I usually say something like twatsicle. You're such a twatsicle.
Yeah, I love making your own variations. Very nice.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie Boondock Saints? Tell me you have.
Of course I fucking have.
Right. I love that scene of well, it certainly illustrates the diversity of the word, right?
Oh, you do it well.
Yep, finger your prey. Yep.
Got a great audience here. Great audience.
Yeah. Always happy when Joe's around.
I love the Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, second one maybe not as good, but if you start drinking like an Irishman during the first one and then you put the second one on right after, it's amazing.
Have you seen Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels?
I want to say that I have it. It's been a long time ago if I have. So
Okay.
yeah, but
It's also very, very good.
yeah,
In the sort of same way that Grimdark sings. It's really, really good.
lots of potty mouth.
I love their tattoos. Veritas. Their tattoos on their hands. Truth.
Yeah.
Guy Ritchie. Yeah, it's a Guy Ritchie movie. It's real good.
Nice. Let's see. Oh, you know what we haven't touched on at all that I did want to talk about a little bit. I asked you about like previous jobs. We got to find like a lot of people in the book industry. They didn't. I think Sanderson is like one of the only exceptions where he's like, I'm going to be a writer from like early on, and he went and did it, and he hasn't had a lot of other jobs. Yeah. But most other folks have had lots of other jobs. So you said that you taught drowned victims how to swim.
Yes,
which
I was a competitive swimmer.
Okay.
And then when I was doing competitive swimming, I taught specifically drowned victims how to swim. Because there's a lot of fear, so I have to go through like a very slow process of acclimating them to the pool. You know, it's baby steps. Like, okay, we're gonna sit in the room next to the pool for an hour, and then we're gonna sit on the pool deck for an hour, and we're gonna put our feet in the water for an hour. You know.
So are these drowned? Are they people that like were about to drown and they got saved? How did?
No, I had one that was actually drowned. I had two that were actually drowned. And then brought back to life.
Okay, so they would.
Yeah. A little girl who drowned in their jacuzzi. She was 6. And then a man who was in his 30s.
Jeez.
Who also drowned. Yeah. It was rewarding. I like helping people. So it was, and you know, I'm a very good swimmer. At least I was at one time. You know, I did competitive swimming, as I said, and I did powerlifting for a long time too, until like the last 5 years or so. But I was a powerlifter.
Really? That's fun.
Yeah. I think my PR for my deadlift was 360.
That's all right. That's definitely very, very solid. I think.
Yeah. Not crazy, but like decent.
Yeah.
It was decent.
I haven't gotten up that high, so respect. Yeah, that's fun. I like to do. Have you ever tried Olympic weightlifting?
Olympic weightlifting,
cleans and snatches.
Yeah.
Sounds.
The problem that I have with cleans and snatches is I don't have a lot of mobility in my wrists. So I can never quite get the bar,
the catch.
I can never quite do it because I don't have a lot of mobility.
That's interesting.
I had the same thing for front squats. The same problem. Right. You got to rest the bar, and it's just back squats I could do like nothing, you know, and push presses and stuff. But
as a power lifter, I imagine.
If I had time, I would have. If I had continued with it, I had to have surgery at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I had to I would have worked on my wrist flexibility, and then I would have been able to do cleans and snatches better. I could get it up. I just couldn't get under it. Yeah. I've done naughty.
I didn't say a word. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Get under the snatch.
Wow, that's what you were thinking? I wasn't thinking that. Oh my god. Anyway,
what can I do before we go?
Yeah. What? Okay. Last.
And then I became a landscape architect.
Yeah, landscape architect. But were you a landscape architect in Vegas?
Yeah.
So were you doing? How much like lawn do they actually do there? Is it like rock gardens?
They don't do much lawn anymore. It's mostly rock gardens and stuff.
Good.
Yeah, I don't see any point in lawn. I'm kind of anti-lawn unless you have like horses.
I have, yeah. Like, I think my HOA is gonna make me keep a front lawn, but like, I think
It's
it
so
is stupid
stupid.
too. Yeah.
It's so stupid. Oh,
Yeah.
look at my 5x5 patch of green.
Yeah.
You could have a gorgeous flower garden right there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
sustainable plants.
Right?
Habitat.
Native sustainable plants. Like, oh yes, do this. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I need the grass at the gas station. You notice there's like grass strips at the gas station. Oh my god, so stupid.
Right. All right, I want to end similar to where we started. You put 10,000 hours into Slay the Spire, but you also said that you put 5,000 hours into another game. What was it again?
Borderlands 2.
Borderlands. Aren't they making a Borderlands movie?
Yes.
I think I saw some images and it actually looked quite good.
Yes, they are. I'm very excited about Tiny Tina.
Right.
Have you played Borderlands 2? It is like,
it is
the greatest game. It's the greatest game.
There are, I have not. I need to. There's a bunch. So I tend to play video games mostly for like a social dynamic. I'll play like with a couple friends or my brother, whatever. So there's a bunch of, because Borderlands is entirely single player, right?
No.
I think no. Okay.
No.
All right. I am wrong about this.
No, but my husband and I played as a team.
Okay. Okay.
Let me just give you
wait a minute.
5,000 hours.
What?
Let me.
Yes. Yeah. Tell me. Explain yourself.
So, my husband and I play as a team. Personality-wise, my husband is very. If you know that somebody is shooting, he has failed. Like, he's a sniper. He just wants to snipe you from a mile away, right?
You're not this way.
No. So my character.
Yeah.
This is how I play. I got this big stocky dude. Okay. And I had when I stopped playing, I had a grenade that was a lightning grenade, and there was, there's like 20 mobs down below me. I throw the lightning grenade and get everybody's attention and say hello, and then I jump in the middle of everybody and I would throw down my atomic turret, go blow everything up, start throwing lightning grenades, and just wail on everybody. It was not.
How did I not know that there's a
productive.
co-op for Borderlands 2? I need to fucking play this with my brother.
So it's not productive. It was like my husband died once to every 20 that I died.
Yeah, but who had more fun?
Yeah, so my personality was how dare you breathe in my general direction.
Yeah, right.
I'll shoot you in the face. And then I bring all of my firepower down for breathing in my general direction.
I love it.
I'm not subtle.
I've been playing, the game I have been playing lately is called Warhammer 40k Darktide. Have you seen it at all?
I have seen it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so for those that haven't seen it, it's Warhammer, so it's weird in the way that Warhammer is weird, but it's this like horde shooter. So you and 3 other people play on a team, and you're fighting essentially like a bunch of zombies, more or less, plus like some special zombies that have powers and whatever. So what's cool about it is there's different classes. So I'm kind of similar to you. I've chosen to play what's called the Ogren, which is like a half ogre giant dude, and he's got, the way I play it, I have a slab shield, which is just a big hunk of metal that I go throw in front of, like I'll be like brr, brr, wail on the zombies and just like yell at them, be like yup you need, and then put the big piece of metal in front of me and like be impervious while my brother actually kills things. Love it.
We call it in family Operation Bethy Shield.
Nice.
I just step in front of the bullets.
There you go.
Right? Yeah,
I think that's very satisfying in games. Yeah, to be unkillable that way.
We did really good,
Nice.
We beat the game multiple times, and we beat all the expansions, and we beat Borderlands 3, which wasn't as good. And we beat the prequel, which wasn't as good. It's hard to beat the magic of Borderlands 2, seriously. It's like the perfect game. So much sass.
Love me some sass.
Yeah.
Love me some sass. I gotta go play it. Now. Or I'm gonna try to jump into Helldivers 2 with Ronnie.
Ronnie, have you played Borderlands 2?
I bet he has. We'll see if he's still around.
Yeah.
Yeah, good fun. Are these, like, granted you've spent tons of time on these games, I assume that they are also your favorite?
Yeah, those two are. Yeah. Definitely my favorite. I like got comfy in those two games and kind of like settled down and just played and made me really happy. They like filled a niche that I needed them to fill.
Are there any single player games or like games that they have, they're very narrative focused, where you've really enjoyed the story?
Yes, actually I can tell you. One sec, let me open my Steam account.
Yeah, there you go.
Updating Steam, because fucking course. Just a moment.
No worries. Just have you played you have that voice nailed, yeah. I've got over there, you probably can't see it clearly, but I've got a red swing line stapler right there. Yep. Oh
no, you're all gonna die.
Have you played Portal and Portal 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Like you would.
But I have enjoyed.
I feel like them. I don't know you well, Beth. I feel like you did enjoy. Yeah, it must enjoy the humor in those.
Really,
you know,
like similar
we're bonding
people here.
right.
Yeah. Get my library open here. There's so many games. We also play a lot of VR. Well, my husband and I have the big VR sets from Steam.
Yeah, the Valve Index.
Yep. And they're so fun. Oh my god. Yes.
There was I haven't really done much of the VR. There was a con locally just this past weekend, and they had like a room that just had like VR setup. So I got to try it when I haven't really tried it much. Yeah, it's pretty. I get the appeal. You know.
Okay, there is a game I'm currently looking for that is completely narrative focused, and it's so good. What letter? Sorry, give me just 1 sec. I have like hundreds.
No worries.
Oh, hey babe, what is the what is the narrative game we played on the ship where we had to
Return of the Obra Dinn?
Thank you. It's Return of the Obra Dinn.
I haven't heard that one, I don't think.
Yes, it's great. It's really great. It's not expensive, and it's sort of like you sleuth trying to figure out how everybody died on a ship in the 1800s.
Lost at Sea, 1803, the good ship Obra Dinn. This is very unique art style.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool.
I don't even. What do you call this? This isn't like cell shaded. This is so weird.
Kind of like a comic book.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Remarkable game.
Wow. If you're a gamer, yeah. Return of the Obra Dinn. OBRADINN.
What's the rating on it?
Overwhelmingly positive, which are like 22,000 reviews.
Yeah. It's okay. That makes sense.
What an interesting game. I got one for you. There's a phone app called Lifeline.
Lifeline, or I'm gonna write it down.
You should go get it. It's like $3 or something. But it's the
coolest. Is it for iPhone?
I'm pretty sure they got it on both. It's not like brand new, but it's such a neat concept. So it's I won't even like tell you much about it. I think it's more fun if you go in pretty dark. But like, go get it, and it is an interactive narrative, but it's not going to take too much of your time. And that's all I'll say about it. That's all I'll say. But it's so fun.
Love that kind of game.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, the sort of like using games as a medium of storytelling, I think it's really fascinating. But yeah, that Lifeline in particular, the way they chose to like deliver it, I was like, This is so clever. This is so good. I love this. You know.
Oh yeah, totally check it out. Most of
Nice.
what I've been doing on my phone is like slot machines. So something else is probably a good idea.
You are in Vegas. No, just kidding.
I wish that they had more of the Oberdin style games. Like it's that good. If there had been anything else that that studio had done, we would have bought it in a heartbeat once we got done with it.
There was one you might check out that a friend recommended. Let me see. Hang on. Pentiment. Pentiment.
Okay.
Yeah. Very very unique art style, also very narrative driven. Might be your cup of tea.
That is what I want.
Here you go.
Can you give me just 1 sec?
Sure. So I know there's some of you over there listening. I know you, like, I can see the stats. Anyone have any questions? Anyone want to ask Beth anything? Anyone want to ask me anything? Could be anything. We could talk about grief. We could talk about video games. We could talk about books. We could talk about SPFBO. We could talk about Grimdark magazine. What do you want to hear? What do you want to talk about? Because otherwise... Well, there's Vivian. Hello. Hi. How you doing?
I'm doing nice. Thank you.
Good to hear. Good to hear. We're just talking about video games together. You play some games with your mom sometimes?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Have you played the Yeah, she looks bewildered. Have you played Return of the Oberdin also?
Mm-hmm.
No? What games do you like to play?
I like to play Minecraft and Roblox and a lot of games like that.
Solid choices. Do you like creative mode or do you do the survival in Minecraft?
I usually do creative mode because it helps me express my feelings.
Nice. Okay. So I'd love to hear more about that. Like, how does the creative mode help you? Like, when you're feeling angry, do you blow stuff up?
Yeah, I like to blow stuff up, and also I just drop a bunch of mobs into a giant pit and watch them.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Do they fight?
No, they just like fall.
Okay.
Nice. I feel like you and my son would get along because he's definitely he enjoys the same things.
That's
Likes
nice.
to create.
My mom wants to go back.
All right. Nice talking with you.
Nice talking to you.
I get to interview 2 people tonight. I didn't know I was going to get to do that.
That was really cute. Well, I've been done. She's like, I want to go. I want to come on. I want to say hi.
Ah, well, there we go.
Yeah,
Now she
she's
was
a
on the
little
show
gamer
too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's a little
clearly.
Mm-hmm.
She
Yeah.
likes to blow things up in Minecraft to help her express her feelings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She builds stuff, builds houses. Her and her dad build towns together.
Oh, that's cool.
My husband is a computer programmer. He's a
really? Okay.
He's an engineer. Yeah, so they have a lot of fun together doing stuff.
Sometimes I'm blown away by like the images I'll see of like these really elaborate construction projects that people have done in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Where they, like, build all of Minas Tirith or something. Like, wow.
And I saw one that was all of Star Trek's one of the ships, one of the Enterprises. They just built. Like, you just go in and they had the blueprints. They just built it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I can't do it. I've tried. I can't. All I want to do is dig and find like caverns. Dig.
Yeah.
That's all I got is just dig and find stuff.
Yep. While we're here, and there's a few of you watching, apparently, I'm going to drop a link here in the chat, and that one is for a giveaway I'm running for a free copy of The First Binding by R.R. Virdi. And then I'll drop a second link here, and that one is another giveaway for a free copy of Beyond Redemption by Michael R. Fletcher. So
I will add a giveaway to this.
What?
What? I will add a giveaway to this for Ronnie's Grave book, the first book of his Grave series. That he should completely continue writing. I'm just saying. But he has a fantastic urban fantasy series. His Grave books, yeah. So I will give away a copy of that to a US person. I mean, why not? You know, got 2 Ronnie books, it's fine.
All right. So yeah, all right. If you've entered the Arviri giveaway, now it'll be 2 books. Cool. Cool.
I don't think he's listening anymore.
He might be. Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, listen. There's things to kill in Helldivers. I understand. He's got planets to save. You know?
It's late.
Right.
It's late where he is.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That's really nice of you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Ronnie's great guy.
Some fans gonna get a book.
Yep. They're gonna get the first book. It's such a good book. I love that the whole concept behind that urban fantasy series.
Yeah, nice. I gotta check again. Slow reader, already big TBR, but yeah, I gotta check out some of Ronnie's stuff. I think I'd really dig it. So
I have 5,000 books on my TBR on Goodreads. Okay.
Wow.
Cry me a river, dude.
Yeah. I'm not at 5,000, so you win that one for sure.
I have read 2,700 though. Like I've been keeping track of the books that I've read since 2010, and I've read 2,700 books since 2010. So I'm chipping away. I add 3. You know, read 1, add 3. Read 1, add 3. So it's still going up, but I am reading stuff. That
is impressive. 2,700 books. Dang.
No, there are people. There are people who are super impressive, like Boss David from FanFi. Like 500 books in a year. 500, 600 bucks in a year. Like
so that more than one a day. I don't understand that. I can't. I don't know. I guess have you ever seen this so off the rails, but whatever, have you ever seen this speed reading software called Spritzing?
Yeah, I have.
I could actually read quite quickly when I was doing the little demo of it. If you're still in the chat, have you ever seen the Spritzing thing? But yeah, so you said you've seen it.
Karen, who actually went to bed,
yeah.
She can read. She can speed read. She can read 2 and 3 books a day. She does not. She reads differently than I do because when I read in my head, I speak in my head. Not everybody does that. And so, if you speak in your head, then you're down to how quickly you can speak.
Right, and so that's my understanding of if you're going to speed read, you have to not do that. Right.
Yeah, but how do you teach yourself not to do that?
I got a book on speed reading, and I need to kind of. I feel like I want before I was hesitant about it because I felt like it was going to hurt my retention and comprehension, but I don't know. I want to give it a try because reading is so fundamental, even beyond the pleasure reading we do. How many different articles do you want to read? You know what I mean? Yeah. There's so much different stuff, printed stuff to consume in the world. Yeah. So
no, I'm with you. I know that a part of speed reading is that instead of reading a word, you recognize the first and last letter of a word as it's a symbol in itself. So it quickens symbol instead of going through and reading each word. But I have trained myself to listen to audiobooks twice as fast. I'm working on getting to 2.1, 2.2. Yeah.
Samoki dude, what's going on here? I don't know either, man. I don't know. We're just still talking.
We're just having a conversation.
Right. Talking with a 9-year-old about exploding stuff in Minecraft. We talked about Grave. We've been talking about George Carlin's words that you can't see on TV, but we said all of them on YouTube, I think. So here we are. Somewhere in it, we talked a little bit about books, but now we're talking about speed reading at the moment. Yeah, that's interesting about the first and last Yeah. That spritzing blew my mind though, because it came so quickly to me. That was really fun.
You can also read the first and last sentence of a paragraph if it's an article.
It's an article.
If you just want a general idea of what the article says, because you've got your lead-in paragraph and your exit you've got your lead-in and then your exit of the paragraph, which tend to have the most information.
Yeah.
So there is that too.
That makes sense. Yeah, but again, like, I mean, I wouldn't want to do that while I'm reading a book, but that's a different thing, you know?
Yeah, and like news, if you're like reading the news or something awful.
Right. The news is awful all the time. Yeah. I mean, but they have to focus on the negative sometime, but whatever. Well, if you're watching, if you're hanging out, Smoky dude, if you're wondering what's going on, give me that like and that subscribe, and you can see more of the interviews that I do lots of different interviews, talking with different authors and different creatives and that sort of stuff. I just collected the entire, like, gotta catch them all. I've got all the Wizards, Warriors, and Words co-hosts from that podcast.
Did you really?
Yeah. So right. Fletcher was. Yeah. Fletcher was the last one, because I talked to Dirk first, and then Rob, and Jed. Now I've talked to Fletcher. So
Jed has a really great game that he did. That's a narrative-driven game. You should check out. Mark read it and did a review of it for before we go.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out too. Yeah, that's good fun. I read I guess I haven't read Fletcher's stuff yet, because honestly, like, Grimdark is not too much my jam, and I know that, like, Grimdark is very much his jam, but
so I think there's a misconception about Grimdark, honestly.
Okay.
All Grimdark is the characters have choice. When you have Lord of the Rings has a ton of violence in it, okay? But you would never consider it a violent book, like, because the focus of the story is on the arc of Frodo and Samwise, generally.
Sure.
You know what they're going to do. You know that they're eventually going to throw their ring in, because that's how that kind of story pans out. In Grimdark, you don't necessarily know that's what's going to happen. And your character it can be morally gray. Like, he could be doing the wrong thing for the right reasons, or the right thing for the wrong reasons. The cool thing about Grimdark is that there's like a tiny little like beam of light, of hope, that carries a Grimdark narrative through the story. It's not all nihilistic. It's not all killing babies and raping and stuff, which I've heard, like, some of the submissions and stuff that we get are just like, dude. Gonna get on some sort of list, man.
That's funny. Yeah.
And that's why I like it. So you can have characters that have latitude of choice, because they are more realistic as people, instead of following a set parameter that you look for in a story, like a hero's journey. You wouldn't necessarily have a hero's journey in Grimdark. Right. You would have something else.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I remember. I mean, I think we can call Game of Thrones Grimdark, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Remember when the TV shows came out? That was my first exposure to Game of Thrones, and then in season 1, and of course there's that moment with Eddard Stark, and I was like, it'll be fun. And it was very much not fucking fine. And I was like, oh, okay, this is different, which, so that was.
Was it the brother and sister having sex? Is that where it got you? Throwing the child out of the window?
No, it was those. Yeah, those were the.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Nope. It's when Eddard got fucking get his head cut off, and I was like,
and you're like, oh, but I like that character. Oh, he's dead now.
Right. Yeah, but because I figured that he was going to be he was played by Sean Bean. You're right. I should have known, because he's played by Sean Bean. But
if you want a great book to get a little Grimdark, read this one.
Okay. Who's that one by?
It's by Cameron Johnston.
Okay.
And oh my God, is this the coolest book? Like, take
Nice.
7 of the worst people in fantasy, like the worst villains, and
Yes.
put them together and have them do a quest.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Good times. Good times.
Yeah, man, it's so.
Have you read Among Thieves by M.J. Kuhn?
I have not. I have it on my shelf somewhere.
That's one of your 5,000. Yeah.
This is my upstairs bookcase. I have 4 more bookcases downstairs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that one seems similar to me in that it's just a cast of. She's described them as terrible people,
Mm-hmm. Terrible people doing things.
Right. What more do you need?
So great, man! It's so great. Like, one of them is a demonologist. One of them is a mad scientist. One of them is a warrior lord, like a god of war.
Oh wow!
A necromancer, an orc chieftain, and a pirate queen.
All right, that's
They have to come together and use their skills to solve a problem. It's so great.
You're pretty good at this, like summing up books and talking good things about them. You should really think about doing that more.
I should really think about doing that. I should write reviews.
I feel like you could.
Like, talking about books. I should totally.
Yeah. You should really. Yeah, you really should.
I'm totally missing my calling here. And in the last issue of Grimdark magazine, there was an origin story for Black Heron, the demonologist.
Cool. Nice.
Because Cameron was nice enough to write it for me because I'm such a stupid fan of his work.
What was the last issue of the quarterly magazine? So what was your theme for the magazine that worked in?
I'll show you what it looks like.
Or did you get that story and then you're like, I'll find a theme to?
No, actually, last magazine didn't have much of a theme.
Okay.
It was just Grimdark stories.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I think it's number 36. Okay, so here's this one was for a novella for T.R. Napper that we did. Sign the cover.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
very cool. And that's the one that had Fletcher in it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then this one was last. This is the one with Black Heron.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah, so she's standing in a circle surrounded by demons and fire.
Like you do, typical Sunday.
Like one does. One does when you're a demonologist. That's one does.
Right? Yeah, that's one does.
They don't all have themes, but the stories kind of go together.
Sure.
They have a pattern, a movement to them, so that the reader can. It's not jarring.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. So, like you, when you're putting together an issue, it's not always about kind of a theme, but it's about just making sure that the whole experience of the issue flows, right?
Yeah. From the beginning to the end. Themes are fun. I mean, in a lot of ways, themes are easier to do. But at least not this Southeast Asian issue. Not counting that one. But generally speaking, they're easier to do. But yeah, you read all the stories, you figure out what you like, you look at the reviews, you try to think about, okay, where would this be most impactful as a reader goes through this magazine.
Nice. Yeah. So obviously the magazine is like a short story collection, but with bigger like short story anthologies, do you ever read like, big anthologies of short stories?
Oh yeah.
What makes a good short story anthology?
Well, I'll tell you what makes a good short story.
Okay.
So very specifically, novellas, novelettes, and short stories they only have so many words. So every word that is chosen has to be very purposeful. And they have to have a situation where it can grab the reader, have enough background context so that you don't have to describe everything, and then go with the story and then be done. Like, it's a short narrative arc. And even a short story, it's even worse because you have 4,000 words to tell, you know, a snippet of something.
A lot of the shorts I've written for competitions, I only get 2K words. Or I did like the flash fiction from NYC Midnight, and that was like 500 words. That was tough to work with, but
so you only have so many words, and some authors are not good at it. They just can't.
Brandon,
Seriously, and Patrick Rothfuss. Yeah, they just don't have the. I don't know. They just can't do it. Like, it's a different mindset. But you have people like PBtP, Fenderson Clark. Have you read any of Fenderson Clark's work?
Don't think I have.
One of the best books that are coming out now, and he's one of the best short story and novella writers living today. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't do. He said, I was on a panel with him. He was talking about novellas, and he's like, that's his comfort zone. Anything longer, he just doesn't feel comfortable doing. The novellas, he's got. Stephen King. Yeah. Stephen King is one of those odd birds that can do both.
Right.
Well, like he can do novellas. The Shawshank Redemption is a novella, or The Body, which was Stand By Me, or I don't know. He's got a bunch of novellas, and then Apt Pupil is another one, and then his short stories are terrifying. He has one he wrote with his son that is the scariest short story I have ever read in my life.
I'm gonna stay away from that.
In the Tall Grass. It's called In the Tall Grass. It is the scariest thing I have ever read. It is frightening.
I don't like scary stuff. I really don't.
No?
But that said, like, I've watched some video game streamers before. There's one that his name is his handle is Day9, and the word day, the number 9. Sean something, can't remember. But regardless, he did a stream on Halloween where he played a scary game, and he just was like, this grown ass man was screaming the whole time. And I'm like,
I have a streamer that I watch too, and he plays scary games.
Yeah,
he screams too, and it's so funny.
Yeah.
He plays VR scary games. So like, it's
one year that's gonna be me. 1 year that's gonna be me.
You totally should. Just once. Do like a live stream of you playing.
Yeah. Just freaking out, scaring my children. Why is Daddy scary? Yeah. That's interesting though. So when you're putting together an issue, it's not so much about like a theme. It's just about the flow of the different stories, and that's kind of, I guess, when you're reading an anthology, I guess it's the flow between the stories that makes it a good anthology for you.
Yes.
And
anthology has a much greater expanse to tell a story, an overall story. Tiny little books.
Right.
Maybe someday I'll do like a big anthology. I'd love that. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But it's so cool.
Have you heard of the Break-Ins, this group of debut authors?
Mm-mm.
So there's just a group of 16 debut authors, and I'm one of them because I'm working on a debut, but they all either have debuted either last year or this year, which is my goal, debut this year. So anyway, we're all talking about wouldn't it be fun if we did like an anthology together of like short stories, but we'll have to see if we can pull it off. Oh, and that was another thing you were talking about, the people that can do both. It's amazing. So I went to a writers conference a while ago, and there was a Jason Mott who won a National Book Award. He's a literary fiction writer. So as Sanderson puts it, boring people with boring problems, but still, he's a good writer.
Sanderson needs to make some friends.
But anyway, like Jason Mott, like he likes writing poetry also, but he's been focused on writing novels. And someone at the conference was like, are you ever going to write more poetry? And he's like, the thing about writing poetry, I don't understand it, but every time I do, money just falls out of my wallet. just falls out. Right?
Like, oh, the words.
Just gone. Whereas I write novels that I actually make some money. So, I guess I got to stick with that. It was, I feel like shorts. I really like shorts too. But like, who builds a career on shorts right now?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Honestly, nobody.
Yeah.
But shorts get you awards. Shorts get you noticed by the book community.
Yeah. No, I think there's at least some place for shorts, and they're a wonderful thing. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Have you read The Egg by Andy Weir?
I've interviewed Andy Weir.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I've interviewed Andy Weir, and I talked to him quite a bit about The Egg. And do you know that he wrote that?
Is that interview? Is it a text interview on Before We Go? Or?
It's a text interview, yeah.
All right, I'm going to go find that text interview.
So he talked a lot about The Egg, and like people have made like a straight up religion out of this short story. It's like I wrote it in a half an hour. Like it's not a thing.
Wow, did he?
I wrote it in half an hour. Like it's not a thing. I'm like, yeah, it's totally a thing. Yes, it is.
God, that blows my mind that he wrote that in half an hour. That is.
Yeah, have you seen the video for it?
Yes, at least like part of it, because I think I saw the video like shortly after I read it, and I'm like, I don't really need to go through this again. But but the video was good. Man, he wrote that shit in half an hour.
Yeah, he wrote it.
What?
It says in the interview. Like people have made like a straight religion out of this.
Yeah, well, I understand it. Like, I mean, the premise is so interesting and so cool.
Embarrassed about it.
It would be weird though. It would. I mean, could you imagine like doing anything and people being like, this guy is like
it's a religion.
Right,
He's a prophet. He's like,
yeah, like no, not a prophet, like don't worship me. I'm gonna feel really weird about making a dumb decision with alcohol or something later,
I interviewed him before Hail Mary.
Okay.
Which, by the way, is one of the best books ever.
Yes, ever. I loved. Yeah.
The
he's one of my like favorite writers right now. Like I watched The Martian in the movie theater, and I loved it and was so blown away that like I hadn't heard the book prior. But I walked out of the movie theater and walked to the bookstore that was literally right next door to that movie theater, and I bought it right away. And I loved it too. Like I loved that one. I think was such a great adaptation because the changes they made in the film were smart for the medium, But the book was, really
in a very cinematic way.
Yes.
So it's very adaptable. They're going to make Hail
Mary.
Project.
And Ken is going to be the hero. Ryan Gosling that played Ken in the Barbie movie is going to be the hero.
Oh, seriously? Well,
yeah.
I guess I could see that. I mean, he may be a little bit too pretty, but I can see that.
Yeah, I think
a little bit. They need to ugly him down a little bit, just a little bit.
I mean, I think he's described in the book like as kind of plain or whatever. Yeah. But Ryan Gosling is not so plain.
No, he's definitely not so plain.
Right.
I mean, he was Ken.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he was. Yeah, I saw his abs. That dude's not plain. Like, come on.
He's gonna come in with like a dad bod.
Yeah. See, that's what we need Ryan Gosling to do the Thor dad bod diet, and then he'll be fine.
Yeah,
then he'll
and
be
it
okay.
Works perfect.
Yeah,
it works perfect. That's very cool. Yeah, that was neat that I got to interview Andy Weir. I also interviewed. Ready Player One. The guy who wrote Ready Player One.
I can't think of his name right now, but I mean, obviously, I know the book Ready Player One.
Yeah, that's also very cinematically written. Like the first one was an easy adaptation. The second book was terrible, but the first book was great. And the movie was great as an adaptation of it.
Yeah. Beth, I usually talk for like an hour, and we've been going for 2 hours now.
I know. My husband he actually called it. I'm like, no, I've seen his videos. It's going to go for an hour. He's like, no, it's not. It's going to go for 2 because that's how it works with you. You'll get talking. It's going to go for 2. Like, no, it's not.
I mean, I could have cut it off, but where's the fun in that,
You're having too much fun talking.
This has been a delight, but now 2 hours seems like a good stopping point.
This is how we talk to Patrick Rothfuss for 3 hours.
Yeah, that makes sense. Did it like when? Fuck, we got another question now. Like when you talked with him, did you like kind of pitch it as like a 1 hour or whatever, and then it just went really long?
It was supposed to be a half an hour.
Really? Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, and we just started talking. We just started talking about books and life and past and stuff. I mean, John and I had a lot of questions because we didn't know where the interview was going to go.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Brandon Sanderson. John and I are a really great interview team because we interview differently and we complement each other.
Nice.
So a lot of our big interviews I'd like to do with him as a team.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Sanderson. We were supposed to only talk to him for a little while, and we talked to him for 3 times as long or something. I don't remember how long the interview was, but we just get him talking and chatting and joking, and he's a very personable guy. I'm going to tell you how nice a guy Brandon Sanderson is. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Where is it? Where is it? I show this sometimes when I get interviewed because it's the nicest thing I have in my collection. And it means the world to me. This is the first edition, Mistborn. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, hold on. Which showed up at my door from Mr. Sanderson telling me about my dad and wishing me, strength in this difficult time. Like, may you find peace in this difficult time, and may you always find hope. Like, he's a nice, classy dude.
Yeah.
People. Yeah, I was absolutely. That was a shining light in a very difficult time for me.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Some okie dude, aka Britain, asks, "Did Rothfuss spill when he was going to put out his next book?"
So we kind of tiptoed around that. We talked a lot about mental health, and one of the problems that he runs into is that he is a perfectionist, and every word has to be perfect, and so he ends up writing things 20 and 30 times. I know that from the interview, he was in process. It was going, it's just, he has, like one of the things he said in the interview that I thought was important, he's like, well, I can't take a day off from the charity because if I do, somebody goes hungry. Like, that's the kind of pressure he's putting on himself. Plus trying to be this author. And there's all the stuff at the world builders. We didn't go into that because we're not investigative reporters,
right?
We're not like Katie Couric or something. We're just wanting to have a discussion about books.
That's the thing. Yeah, like I would love to interview him, but I feel like if I did, I almost like wouldn't like put it public because
it's hard.
Like I don't want to ask him about book 3 because I feel like I already know the answer. It's because he's a perfectionist, and like, how the fuck do you meet the expectations that are already out there for book 3? Like, there's so much pressure, and it's only kind of getting more, and I feel bad for him in that way. But he's awesome. I love his writing.
We live in a golden age of work. Right. He's one very talented individual amongst many. So there's always somebody else to read.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. There's 5,000 books on certain TBRs,
Yeah, right. Right.
All right, Beth. This has been lovely. Where can people find and follow you online? I think we kind of already covered that, but go ahead.
You can find me at grimdarkmagazine.com, me at beforewegoblog.com, and I'm mostly on Twitter at Beth Tabler or at beforewegoblog. Yeah, I'm on there all the time. So say hello. I'll follow you back. I follow back all creatives because I love meeting new people and then having good conversations and stuff. So yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you for being here, Beth. I hope this counts as a good conversation.
I think it was fabulous. I think we're besties now, honestly.
There we go. Very nice. All right. And thank you all for watching. I appreciate you being here. Gone everywhere with this one. Been lots of fun. And if no one's told you today, you're an absolute legend.
Thank you.